So we're going to make contact with the side of the scalp, hold for a few seconds, and then effleurage down through the scalp and the hair for 3 to 6 times depending on the length of the hair. Remember to do your pressure checks. And then we're going to follow this with finger and thumb kneading all over the scalp. Nice rhythmic movements, superficial and deep. Remember to turn the head to the side. Bring the head back to centre and repeat on the opposite side. Bring the head back to centre again. And we're going to do cross frictions to the hairline. Remember to keep your fingers away from the face and move your body in order to work all the way around the hairline. Just put one effleurage in after doing that, and then we'll follow with tapotement all over the scalp, our little butterfly strokes. Effleurage down through the length of the hair and then pluck. Really make sure the wrist movement is flexing, lifting the hair away from the scalp, working from the roots so that you don't pull. We're going to follow this with our traction, so put the fingers into the occiput and pull the head back towards your tummy. Hold for a slow count of 3, release and effleurage. Again, 3 to 6 times is ample. Bringing the hands onto the side of the head, close this section of the massage. It's a good point now to put a hairband on to the client and just cleanse your hands again with sanitizer and just put a small amount of oil onto your hands for the facial massage. Place the hands onto the sides of the face. Make contact with the area of the body you're going to be working on. And then just spread the oil evenly over the whole of the face. We're then going to start with our effleurage, coming up the sides of the neck, across the cheeks, up the temples, and over the forehead, back down towards the neck. Remember, check the pressure on each area of the body you're working on. Each time you start a new area, check that pressure. Keep that effleurage going. Then we're going to flow into our alternate hand effleurage, coming up either side of the nose and back down the side of the face. Alternate hands swimming over the face, creating that nice rhythmic movement. I'm going to follow that with finger and thumb kneading, starting at the chin, working out around the mouth, over the cheeks. Make sure the tissue's moving appropriately over the forehead, down the nose, back down to the chin, and repeat that one more time. You should be up towards the forehead now. Going down the nose, back to the chin, and we're going to go straight into our skin rolling, working out from one side of the chin out to the side of the face, one side at a time, back towards the chin, and then over to the opposite side, the opposite ear, towards that region. Follow this with effleurage, up the sides of the face from the neck, over the forehead, and back down. Follow this with tapotement all over the face, down the sides of the neck, under the chin, over the cheeks, up onto the forehead, back down over the cheeks, straight into your static vibrations on the sides of the cheekbones, and then onto the forehead. Effleurage down to the neck, and then flow into cross frictions over the forehead, using either your thumbs or fingers, whichever you find easiest. Remember to move your body and to keep your hands away from the eyes. Effleurage up over the sides of the face again, down the forehead, back down to the neck. Bring the hands onto the side of the face and hold a slow count of 3. I'm going to move on to the chest massage, so uncover the shoulders and the upper chest and oil up in nice flowing smooth movements. When you've oiled up, just bring the hands to rest for a slow hold of 3, and then we're going to effleurage out from the sternum, around the shoulders, up into the back of the neck. Again, remember a pressure check for a different area of the body. Nice rhythmic flowing effleurage movement all the way around into the neck. Follow this with knuckling out across the pectoral muscles, around the deltoid of the shoulders, into the back of the trapezius, and right up into the neck. Flow back down and repeat this again for me. And one more time. Across the deltoids, into the trapezius, and into the back of the neck. Bring the thumbs onto the trapezius and knead with the thumbs, making sure the fingers don't put any pressure on the clavicle at the front of the shoulders. And then turn the hands round and use the fingers to knead again, making sure the thumbs don't press down on the clavicle. Follow into your effleurage stroke from the sternum out across the deltoids, into the back of the neck, Repeat that for me. And one more effleurage. Take the client's head to one side. Remember not to touch the hair. Rest your hand on the couch and use the other hand to thumb and finger knead down the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Do 2 repetitions of the kneading. And follow this with effleurage down the side of the neck, around the shoulder, and back up into the back of the neck. 3 times. Take the client's head to the opposite side, and we're going to repeat that routine. Effleurage to start with, then knead down the sternocleidomastoid. Remember to demonstrate thumb kneading and finger kneading. And follow with effleurage. Bring the head back to centre. And effleurage out from the sternum, back up into the back of the neck, going round the shoulders 3 times. Hold, slow count of 3, and close. So we're now going to uncover the abdomen. And we're going to oil up the abdomen with nice flowing smooth strokes. Really take a few strokes to put the oil on. And then we're going to flow into our effleurage, our diamond effleurage, up to the sternum, back down under the ribs, coming back down to the pelvis, back up to the pubis region, and repeat that again. One more time. We're going to follow this with picking up either side of the abdomen, so really make sure you lift the skin away from the underlying structures, lifting the tissue right up. Nice rhythmic movement, both sides of the abdomen. And we're going to go into our large ringing stroke, or our push-pull across the abdomen, making sure you get that nice twisting movement in the abdominal tissue. And then we're going to knead the colon. We're going to come up the ascending colon, across the transverse, down the descending, glide across the pubis, and flow back into our effleurage, our diamond effleurage up to the sternum, back down under the ribs to the pubis, and repeat that 3 times. Then we're going to rest the hands on the abdomen for a slow count of 3 to close this section of the massage. When we've done that, you will recover with the towel. You're now going to uncover one arm and oil up the arm nicely, all the way up round the shoulder. Just 2 or 3 strokes should be ample to get the oil on. And then we're going to flow into our effleurage, up the arm, around the shoulder, back down to the hand. Nice rhythmic movement. Remember your rocking horse posture. Raise the lower arm, support the arm in your hand and across your lower arm, and you're going to knead the bicep muscle. Follow this with picking up of the bicep, lifting the muscle away from the bone. Bring the arm back onto the couch securely. Then you're going to go into your ringing of the bicep muscle. Nice rhythmic ringing movements. Effleurage, the whole of the arm. You're now going to support the arm the other way, cradling their elbow in your hand, their lower arm across your lower arm, making sure you don't touch with your body, and knead into the triceps. If you haven't done so already, make sure you do your pressure checks. And then you're going to pick the triceps up. So we're going to lift the tissue away from the underlying structures. Making sure not to pinch, you're lifting away. We're going to take the arm across the client's chest, supporting their hand on their shoulder. And we're going to ring the tricep muscle. Effleurage down from the elbow, around the shoulder. And follow this with thumb and finger kneading around the elbow. Bring the arm back down onto the couch. And effleurage up around the shoulder, back down to the elbow. So we're effleuraging the upper arm and then the lower arm. We're then going to flow into our thumb kneading on the inner arm, from the wrist up to the elbow. And then we're going to turn the arm and do the same on the outer arm. Just put an effleurage into the whole arm. And then we're going to knead around the wrist joint. Thumb and fingers, remember to demonstrate both. Finger pulls. And you should be on the last pull now. Follow this with draining the tendons. And you should be on the last tendon now. Turn the hand over, interlace your fingers with theirs, and cross frictions to the palm. And I'm going to raise the lower arm, and we're going to go into our passive movements, making sure you demonstrate both flexion and extension and a full range of rotation. Bring the arm back down onto the couch and effleurage 3 times to close this section of the massage. Now I'm going to uncover one leg, really making sure that you tuck the towel in tightly under the opposite leg, and at the top of the thigh the towels are tucked in neatly under the hip to secure them tightly, and that the client's fingertips aren't showing, so it helps to tuck the hand in under the buttock as well. And then going to oil up the full leg. Again, this shouldn't take you too long. Nice rhythmic flowing movements. Remember your posture at this time as well. And you're going to go and flow into 3 full leg effleurage strokes. Remember your rocking horse posture. And then 3 deep effleurage into the thigh. Follow this with alternate handed kneading up the thigh. And then single-handed kneading to the inner thigh. Follow this with ringing to the inner thigh, lifting the tissue of the fingers and pushing back down towards the thumbs. Follow this with your push-pull stroke, lifting the tissue away from the bone. And then we're going to flow into our hacking. Remember, relaxed hands and wrists, relaxed fingers. Remember to breathe and work the whole area so as to not create any sore patches. Follow this with cupping. Remember, we want to hear the clip-clop of hooves, not the slapping. Working the whole thigh. Get your body moving so that you'll get down low. Just put a simple effleurage to the upper thigh and travel around to the opposite side of the table, maintaining contact. And we're going to go into beating the outer lateral aspect of the thigh along that IT band. Follow this with pounding. Remember, if you haven't done so already, do your pressure checks with these strokes. And then travel round to the opposite side of the couch. And effleurage to the upper thigh, soothing the area you've just worked. And then thumb and finger knead around the knee joints. Come down to the foot, effleurage the lower leg. And thumb knead the lateral aspect of the shin along the soft tissue along the outside of the shin bone up towards the knee. Simple effleurage stroke to the knee. About 3 times should be sufficient. And follow this with thumb and finger kneading around the ankle joint. Rotation of the ankle joints. Both directions. You can put in an extension and a flexion if you want to. Follow this with thumb kneading to the tendons. And then we're going to cross frictions to the sole of the foot. Pluck the toes. Effleurage the whole of the foot. And a nice effleurage stroke up the whole of the leg, right down to the foot, to close the massage with hold of the foot. We're going to then recover the leg, and we're going to help the client to roll, so we need to remove the bolster, making sure it doesn't go onto the floor. Pin the towels down with your thighs. Hold the towels down tight, asking the client to roll towards you. Ensure that they're comfortable, the face cradle supporting them, and that your towels are nice and tidy. Remember, it's a good idea to tuck the lower towel into the pants at this point, exposing the cleft of the buttocks so that it's ready for when you do the back massage. When you've done that, we're going to uncover one leg again. Make sure that the towels are tightly tucked in, so they're not going to get into your way, and that the client's hand isn't exposed or the other foot isn't exposed. Ensure all coverage. So now we're going to oil up the posterior leg. Again, this shouldn't take you very long. And then we're going to flow into effleurage up the whole leg, from the heel to the glutes. Nice rhythmic flowing effleurage. Remember the rocking horse posture. And then 3 deep effleurages into the upper thigh. Followed by single-handed kneading to the inner thigh. Fingers to thumbs, remember. And then ringing to the whole of the thigh. Follow this skin rolling to the inner thigh. Followed by the push-pull stroke, lifting the muscle away from the bone. Follow this with hacking, working the whole of the thigh. Remember, relaxed wrists, relaxed hands, and remember to breathe. And you're going to follow this with cupping. Effleurage to the whole of the thigh, soothing the area you've just worked, flowing down to the heel, and effleurage to the calf. Follow this with thumb kneading up the Achilles tendon. Do 2 rotations of the thumb kneading. Ringing to the calf. And then drain the Achilles tendon up to the popliteal space. Thumb drainage all the way up. Fanning out through the popliteal space, drain through. And follow with effleurage to the full leg 3 times. On the third one, come down to the foot and hold. Slow count of 3. And recover the leg. Once you've recovered the leg, you need to move up to the back and uncover the back, remembering the cleft of the buttocks should be showing. And we're going to oil up the back. Remember, we don't need to include the arms, just the back and the shoulders. And then we're going to start with 3 light effleurage up the back, around the shoulders. Nice flowing rhythmic effleurage movements, 3 light ones, followed by 3 deep ones. Remember, we should see the tissue changing, see a deeper movement coming through. Your body should be working into the stroke more. you haven't done so already, do your pressure check. And then we're going to follow this with our figure of 8 stroke across the shoulders. Remember to make sure you round off fully. Nice rhythmic flowing movement. Use your body in the movements. Glide back down to the side of the body and go into kneading up the side of the torso. Slide down the spine and knead to the opposite side. Slide back down the spine. And we're going to go into single-handed kneading. Hand furthest from you remains on the buttock, the other hand works up the side of the torso nearest to you, comes to a rest on the shoulder, release the other hand up the opposite side. So both hands should then travel up to the shoulder. Come round to the head. And we're going to do 3 reverse effleurage strokes. Nice flowing movement. Remember, fingers together with our effleurage. You don't want too much swimming. Come back down to the side of the couch, and we're going to ring to either side of the torso. We're moving on to the opposite side now. All the way up towards the shoulder. Back down to the base of the back. And some knead up the erector spinae muscles. Follows kneading to the neck. And then ringing to the trapezius muscle either side of the neck. Thumb slides from the base of the neck up towards the occiput, all the way round to the ears on one side, and then round to the ear on the other side. Rolling vibrations down the spine. All the way down to the sacrum. Travel back up to the shoulders. And we're going to hack the 4 quadrants. Should be on your final quadrant now. And then we're going into cupping of the 4 quadrants. Remember to ease off over the kidneys all the time. Be careful you're not slapping. And effleurage to the back to soothe the area you've just worked. I'm going to do reinforced effleurage up one side of the back, one hand on top of the other, and then up the opposite side. Hand broadways on. We're going to follow this with our forearm stretches. Firstly along the length of the spine, then on the diagonal, and the opposite diagonal. Effleurage the full back, and we're going to follow this with stroking down the spinal column, starting off with a nice reassuring stroking pressure, gradually getting lower and lighter until we're just feathering on the lower back and through to the sacrum. Just rest your hands onto the body for a slow count of 3, and release the towel from the buttocks and recover the back. Bring the hands back onto the body. Now we're going to take our time to close the massage by centering nice and slowly away from your client.